statistically amazing senior season. Covenant will come out in their white jerseys with white shorts and blue trim and horizontal pinstripes. Nike jerseys with Covenant out front. And Wheaton, the men join hands and walk out to the middle of the field, led by the referee crew, where we will have the starting lineups for the first game of the year between Wheaton and Covenant College. And Noah, why don't you run us through those lineups for Covenant?
Certainly. I'm going to be new to some of these names, but you can help me on that one. Right here, Ryan Seeger in goal. Junior this year, played a solid year last year, and will be starting us off with this season right here. Corey Weaver, senior, will probably be playing defense or midfield. In this case, Adam Blackman is a freshman from Urbana, Illinois. Dan Pavlak, junior from DeWitt, Michigan. Matt Hussey, sophomore, will be playing defense, either in the back right or in the back left. Drew Gols will be senior right here, will be playing. Colt Martin, also a senior. Huge part of the team. Josh Clark coming in sophomore. Jason Lawler, the junior. Mitchell Parr, and then finishing Chad Musgraves, sophomore, who distinguished himself last year as a midfield. I remember this guy just running up and down the field just tirelessly. So that is the lineup for the Wheaton Thunder at the beginning of this game.
And for Covenant, in goal will be the senior keeper from Trinity, North Carolina, John Eager. Ryan Parr, the junior defender, is number 2. Number 3, Johnny Frame, a senior midfielder from Oviedo, Florida. Number 4, Tyler Morrison is a junior midfielder. Number 5, Todd Fleming, a senior defender. Number 8, Chris Pfeiffer, the junior midfielder. Chris Pfeiffer is a very key player to look out for on this Covenant team. He's the only of the top 5 point scorers for this team that still is here from last season. 4 of the top 5 point scorers were seniors a year ago and have graduated since then. Number 12, Jay Boyd is a sophomore defender from Decatur, Alabama. Number 18, Ian Meredith is the freshman forward from Nairobi, Kenya. Number 19, Matt Hudnut, the sophomore midfielder. Number 20, Hunter Harrison, the freshman defender from Greenville, South Carolina. And rounding him out is number 22, David Huertas, a freshman forward from Lutz, Florida.
Definitely representing the surrounding southern states of Covenant College, North Carolina, Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, your typical southern states.
6'2" out of Palatine.
Nathan Pfeiffer leads the Covenant Scots in his 3rd season. There's about 1,200 kids that enroll at Covenant. Blue and white colors there in the Great South Athletic Conference. And a season ago, they had 14 wins, 8 losses, and 1 draw. Now for the Wheaton College men's team, they had a regular season record of 11 wins, 7 losses, and 3 draws. And 7 of those 11 wins, Noah, came in the CCIW, where they ran the table in the conference to take the regular season title, and they want to do that again this year.
Yeah, that is definitely got something to look forward to now as we start the national anthem.
There it is. The national anthem and the starting lineups are in the books. The teams have been introduced and announced, and we are just about set for the fourth and final game of the first day of the annual Bob Baptista Invitational from Joe Bean Stadium. And for Coach Giuliano, the Bob Baptista Invitational has a special meaning for him because Baptista was the first man who gave Coach Giuliano his first job in the soccer coaching industry, and he's been ever grateful to Baptista, who while he was at Wheaton as a student in the 50s, captained both a basketball and a soccer team, and later served as head coach of the Wheaton men's soccer team. There's a beautiful blood red sunset.
More like an orange pinkish to me.
Oh man, it is as beautiful as it disappears right behind the trees here as we see it. That would be the west side of the stadium. As we see east on the left, or excuse me, west on the left, east to the right, and north and south. Wheaton out in its home blue uniforms with white trim along the shoulders and the sides. And Covenant College will take the kick from midfield to begin the first 45 minutes of the first half here at Joe Bean Stadium. And there's a bit of a delay before we get things going,
as we've already started the game a little bit late. It's what, 7:08? I guess that's what we expected for the game to start. Yeah, definitely 7:08. And we'll be going over the lineup, what the formation actually is for both teams. Right now, Wheaton Thunder with a what looks like 4-4-2 position, obviously with one in goal. And with Covenant, a little bit different, 4-2-4, it seems like to me. It might be switching it up around, but here we go, start of the game.
Covenant has possession in toward the middle. Now one player to look out for is Chris Pfeiffer. Josh Clark gives pressure on an immediate ball as it's cleared by the Scots in toward the middle. Colt Martin has it. Now Hussey gives it on for Weaver. Weaver drops it back now for Adam Blackman. Now cutting across and trying to make a play with it are the Thunder. Lawler drops to Weaver. Weaver cuts in trying to split a double team. He does. Drops it for Lawler. Scoots one in along the side into the 18-yard box, but the defense is there. And clearing it away now is the defense for Covenant. The retreat back in the defensive half, though, for the Thunder. Colt Martin along the right foot, dribbling across midfield. Trying to hit Drew Goals. Unable to find him, though. Covenant has it. Here comes an opportunity for a through ball. Hussey trying to get in front of it and knock it away. He does. Matt Hussey, as a freshman last year, was a solid defender. Ball rolls out of bounds. Last touch by the Thunder, and a throw will come for Covenant.
So at the beginning of the games are always a burst of energy. Both teams trying to just give it their all to see and figure out what the other team is like. Get a feeler.
That's exactly right. There's some congestion along the far side of the touchline, and out of bounds will be a throw for the Thunder. Colt Martin will take it. Martin's the senior defender from Mason, Michigan, Mason High School. He throws into Weaver. Another touch back to Martin. High boot, high into the air. Not very far, though. A winnable ball falls in between a couple headers, and is now controlled by Covenant. Trying to take it away is Musgraves. Now it's dropped back behind. Goals. Try to take it away for the first time. Drew does. It's 1-on-2. Now 2-on-3. He's got Josh Clark. Now he goes to the right side. Chad Musgraves. He overran the ball. Has it back. Joe's left foot in toward the goal to the middle. Cleared away high. Here comes a header opportunity. It's controlled on the ground by Lawler outside the 18-yard box and cleared by the Covenant defense. Still Wheaton possession. Left foot cross in toward goals at the top of the box. He undercut a Covenant defender who put his hands in the air before he even hit the ground looking for a foul, and it was awarded to him. That was Jay Boyd who fell hard to the turf. The foul is called on Drew Goals.
This is probably the most dangerous stab so far from the Thunder. A little bit on the right with Musgraves making a great show for the ball on the right, overstepping the ball a little bit like you said, but still able to control it and pass it into the middle.
As a freshman last year, Musgraves was all over the offensive part of the field. 5 assists with 2 goals for Chad as a freshman. Team started a game plan for him and tried to shut down his offensive game, which just opened the door for many of his teammates. Coach Giuliano hoping for more of the same of that result this year. Possession ball being played as the Thunder try to build from back to front. Corey Weaver surveying his options, goes right-footed pass to the left side. Mitchell Parr with it. Mitchell splits double team nicely, tries to go with the left foot, and is deflected out of bounds. It'll be another Thunder throw as Coach Giuliano takes care of that ball out of play. The throw comes in toward Josh Clark. It's overrun, though, and goes into the box. The keeper tonight, John Egger from Trinity, North Carolina. He's a senior. He'll roll it out to the right side to his defender, Ryan Parr. Parr looks at his options, tries to hit somebody down the touchline on the right side. Instead, it hits the referee. And it still stays in possession of Covenant because it won off the referee. The throw comes in, trying to be controlled by Covenant, but it goes out of bounds.
And if you're interested in the lineup and what it looks like, in the back with the 4 defenders, we have Matt Hussey bringing up the sweeper right now, passing it out to the right to Colton Martin, who's on the right side of the defense. And then number 17, we have Mitchell Parr, left defender on the wing. And then number 4, Dan Pavlak, playing kind of a stopper position in front of Matt Hussey. So that's your defensive lineup in the back of the field. And we'll go through the rest of the lineup as we go through the game. But that's just to give you a little bit of a picture of what this game is looking at and how the Thunder is setting itself up.
Here comes a high boot off the drop kick from John Egger. Headers exchange back and forth, 3 in a row. Now Weaver controls a little bit of space, but not much. He tries to give Adam Blackman a run for it as he pursues it, and it rolls out of bounds. Adam's a freshman from Urbana High School here in Illinois. Foul called, free kick coming up for Covenant College, and to be taken in is Ryan Parr. Still scoreless, 5th minute, just transferring over into the 6th minute now from Joe Bean Stadium. Alongside Noah Pickens, I'm Judah Newby for the first game of the year for the Wheaton men. Very exciting time of year. A little bit of a threat posed. Colt Martin, though, is able to deflect it out of the 18-yard box and out of bounds. It will be a throw for Covenant deep in the Wheaton defensive third. Trying to get it in play. They finally do. Knocked back out and controlled by Covenant. Along the right-footed touchline, booted in toward the goal, but it rolled out first. There'll be a throw-in for the Thunder going the other way. The Thunder move right to left as we see it. Covenant moving left to right here as we're at the press box on the opposite side of the grandstand. Hussey drops it off for Seeger. Seeger controls. He'll go to the right side to Colt Martin as the Thunder look again to build from the back up. Hussey, the sweeper, had an excellent season a year ago. Weaver, left-footed drop for Mitchell Parr. Parr, left-footed opportunity. It's the freshman, Adam Blackman. He goes to the right. He's by a long shot with the right foot, and it carries the post and carries the background and into the football field.
And here we go with one of the second or so stab from the Wheaton Thunder offense, showing Adam Blackman showing us what his foot can actually do. A little bit too far, so he's going to have to lean into those shots in the future. Especially the closer you get to the goal, the more you're going to have to focus in on leaning into your shot, because it is so easy to overshoot it and just blast it over the goalpost.
It's incredibly easy to do just that, as Blackman did, but he'll learn. Ball's gone back and forth, deflected off the foot of Dan Pavlak and out of bounds. It'll be a throw for Covenant just on their side of the midfield stripe. Parr to throw it in. He does, trying to gain possession of it is his teammate Tyler Morrison, but the Thunder defense is there. Weaver drops it all the way back to Seeger, who controls it with his feet. Goes right side to Martin again. Lawler and Weaver trying to get into the Wheaton offensive front. Change direction now. Mitchell Parr controls on the left flank. He dribbles up, he's got some room. Kind of a weak pass, though, to Weaver, and it gets intercepted by Ryan Parr, the defender. He goes with a long cross in toward the box. Martin flicks it on, though, with his head, and out of bounds. It will be the first corner of the game, and it will be for Covenant College.
All right, and if you're interested in getting a more extensive picture of what the field is looking at right now, we got Chad Musgraves on the far right for his midfield. Jason Lawler in the middle, along with Adam Blackman on the left near side of the field. And they're forming the midfield of this team right now. Corner kick for Covenant College.
Looks like Tyler Morrison will take it. He brings a foot in, kind of a low liner, headed out of trouble. And now Chad Musgraves had it. Musgraves having difficulty control it fully. He has to slow down his full, complete sprint. Hussey with it. Boots it across the midfield stripe and into the defensive third, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be a Covenant throw. Musgraves, though, Noah, as we've mentioned earlier, has incredible speed, was able to utilize that to his benefit last year, and he's most likely the fastest starter on the team to give them a lot of speed along the flank.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shame he couldn't complete that run right there. Usually that counterattack is what gets you a goal. You know, you could have a team not controlling the ball that much, but they can definitely gain a hold with a counterattack like that, off a corner kick, for instance.
Drew Goals tries to turn on the burners and overtake a defender to get to the ball deep in the corner, but apparently was called for a foul in the process, and it'll be a free kick coming up for the keeper, John Eager. Goals his second foul. 10 minutes in, no score from Joe Bean Stadium. Handball appealed for by the home crowd, but not awarded. Wheaton with possession. It'll be a foul call against Johnny Frame. Senior midfield. Free kick coming up. Hussey takes it quickly and simply drops it to Martin. Colt, a long cross boot in for Drew Goals. It falls in the middle. Goals is there, a long header and toward the goal, and it just falls to the left by about 6 feet.
The Covenant defense definitely showing some pressure right there on Drew. He had 3 defenders on him, definitely not giving him some space to head that in, as it was a little too far off to the left towards the near side of the field. Our crowd is definitely swelling right now. We got quite a number of students and quite a number of parents, I'm assuming, in the home section of the stands.
Drew Goals crosses to Lawler. A couple of headed opportunities. Josh Clark trying to keep on ball, but it's taken away by Covenant. Covenant player looks like he got hit in the face by Corey Weaver, obviously inadvertently. And now Lawler is jawing a bit with the Covenant player, Matt Hudnop. Referee separates them for the time being. Talks to them both. Realize it was just amicable argument. Lawler pleading his case still. Looks like the foul was called on him.
He's definitely pleading his case.
Covenant, as we mentioned, coming up from Lookout Mountain, Georgia, just to the east of Chattanooga, Tennessee. There's a high header into the 18-yard box. Seeger comes out of the 6-yard box to jump and spear it. Would have been dangerous if not for the sure hands of Seeger. Slide tackle out of bounds, and a foul has been called.
You can definitely tell Ryan Seeger's height. He uses that very well to his advantage, as he is a tall guy.
Goals tries to give a shoulder flick on. High boot into the air toward the midfield circle. Looking to head it up. Was Pavlak unable to do so, but he does on the second attempt. More winnable balls going into the middle. Pavlak now with it. Slides to Clark. Clark tried to beat his man. Will change directions. Go to the middle of the field. Long left-footed shot. Barely carries the crossbar. But my goodness, from a good 30, 35 yards out, Josh Clark unloaded with a left-footed shot over the crossbar.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's his natural foot right there, but if that's his weak foot right there, ladies and gentlemen, I'm wondering what his right foot will do if he can shoot like that with his left foot.
There's a lot of power in that left foot for Josh Clark. I do believe he's right-footed. Covenant now with an opportunity, playing along the right-handed touchline. Both Pavlak and Parr are there. A foul has been called, and it's going against Covenant. There'll be a free kick going the other way, deep in the defensive third for the Thunder, as they move right to left. Musgraves near us now, playing the forward on the far left. Goals the forward in the middle. Clark, the midfielder, just in front of him. Hussey delivers to Colt Martin. Back to Hussey. He plays back to Parr. Possession offense now. Now Parr. Let's see what he wants to do with it. Tries to split a pair. Gets it to Musgraves. Musgraves trying to keep it on bounds on the left flank. Opportunity to cross, perhaps. And he rolls it right off a Covenant defender and out of bounds. It will be a corner kick.
Thunder corner kick.
The first Thunder corner opportunity of the day.
That was really off of the mistake of a Covenant defense right there. Chad Musgraves being able to take advantage of the situation and controlling the ball.
Clark will take the corner. Right next to him, though, is Corey Weaver with a one-man defensive pressure. Weaver to Clark. Boot comes in toward the middle. A header is just wide.
What a great show right there. I believe, who is that right? I can't see his.
Looks like Dan Pavlak.
Yeah, that is Dan Pavlak showing up for the ball right there, giving it his head. With those right there on the corner kick, you must tilt your head in as opposed to out. Otherwise, you will send the ball flying as you will with a shot. So he is definitely showing in the right way, head in at the right angle, and it just didn't connect the right way. And so I believe we're going to be seeing a goal soon right here. We've already had like 3 shows for the Wheaton offense, stabbing in, making some shots. While they were long, but at least they were some shots.
Covenant, meanwhile, trying to do something with it, but Lawler picks the pocket clean. Now Mitchell Parr goes left side for Corey Weaver. The senior, Corey Weaver, played defense last year, now plays midfield this year, tries to drop it into Josh Clark, trying to split a double team. Here comes Musgraves on the ball. Gone back and forth. Covenant now trying to maintain possession. Parr trying to split a double team, unable to do so. Rolls the ball over with his foot, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be a Wheaton throw. Parr looks at the referee, signal if it was a foul or a simple throw-in. It's a throw-in. He gets it in at Josh Clark. Clark trying to push it in for Musgraves, trying to split a double team. Where's the speed? And it just gets by Musgraves. He was never able to touch it completely as it rolled in the 6-yard box and picked up by John Egger.
And those are the plays you want to cringe in your shoes when you're watching a Covenant defender and a Wheaton offense running at the goalie at just breakneck speeds, and you're just wondering, okay, what's going to happen? Is there going to be some collision? But with that one, there was some good communication on the part of the Covenant goalie.
Definite reason to be nervous at times because there have been numerous injuries that have happened with that play of events. Meanwhile, back now down in the Wheaton defensive third, Covenant has a throw-in. Still no score. 16th minute from Joe Bean Stadium, first half. Musgraves rolls it along the ground. Covenant is there to intercept. Mitchell Parr gives a left-footed to Corey Weaver. Pavlak tries to do something with it. Covenant intercepts again. An opportunity here. Crosses in toward the middle of the 18-yard box. Roll with the right foot. Seeger's there. Cleans it up. Not much of a threat. Rolls out to the right flank. Blackman, the freshman, gives to Clark. And he gives a backheel flick to Blackman, which is perfectly done. Blackman tries to give it up to Drew Goals, who tries to bring it down, and the ball just rolls out of bounds before Goals was able to cross it into the middle where he had a charging Musgraves and Josh Clark. Boy, beautiful give-and-go ball, though, between Josh Clark and Adam Blackman, and then by the freshman Blackman to Drew Goals.
Yeah, definitely a good sign of a counter-attack, and it looks like we're going to be having some subbing in here for the Wheaton Thunder. We got number 18, Steven Russo, sophomore from Del Mar, New York, that is coming in for Dan Pavlak, and it looks like he'll be replacing him as a stopper. Yeah, it looks like he will be replacing him as a stopper. Not sure exactly why Dan Pavlak will be subbing out for the moment, but let's just see if Russo will be able to give us some energy for this game.
Covenant now with a throw-in, trying to throw it into the Wheaton defensive half. It's deferred back to this side. Making a play on it now is Drew Goals, trying to feed Josh Clark. A hard tackle, no foul called. We play on. Covenant now with possession. A pooch coming now toward the right center side. Russo just entered the game, tries to clean it up, and he knocks it out of bounds. Covenant will have a throw. $17 minute. No score here from Joe Bean Stadium. Ball is dropped back to the Covenant goalkeeper. He is just out of the 18-yard box and boots it down. A nice ball now coming for the Covenant forward. He controls to himself, drops it for a right-footed shot. He never really got the full meat of the ball. That was David Huertas, who had that ball from Ian Meredith, and is scooted alongside about 5 feet wide to the left of Ryan Seeger in the posts. And the crisis is averted.
Yeah, like you said, he definitely didn't get the meat of that ball and just kind of grazed it, making it just sort of spin out of control. Covenant really not showing too much of an offensive side to their team. Doesn't seem like they've been able to come together on their offense, being able to touch it back and forth. Not too many give and goes, but they're starting to make a little more of a show on the Wheaton defensive side.
Part of that is a testament to the strength of the Wheaton defense. Very strong part of their team a season ago and looks to be again this year.
Yeah, and if you look at the field right now, if you don't have the advantage of a TV, if you're not sitting in front of the boob tube, right now the Thunder defense is splitting the field. Whenever they have control of the ball, they're creating as much space as they can, sending the ball out to the far wings to either Martin or Mitchell Parr. And it works very well at splitting the offense and gives the Thunder an opportunity to send the ball down the wings. Or in the middle if they so desire to.
Jason Lawler took the reception on that throw-in in the defensive half for the Thunder. Controlled it a few times with his feet in the air without it letting it hit the ground, and then went up for a header. Was knocked to the turf. I believe he collided heads with another Covenant forward. And he's taking his time getting up. The referee allowed him to take his time. Here, 19th minute, no score. Seeger will take the free kick. Gets it on to the middle, to the very top corner, flicked on nicely. Trying to win this ball is Blackman. He goes up with his counterpart, number 3. There's a roller into the middle. Cleared by the Covenant defense at the top of the box. Gets it on. Ian McKenzie trying to win it for the Scots. Lawler wins it for the Thunder. Russo, left foot, leaves it for Colt Martin. Now to Lawler. Lawler, right foot, tries to get past his man. Does for the meantime. Gets to Clark. Clark trying to do some fancy forward to get around his man. He falls to the turf. No foul. Very physical game played by the Covenant defense, which at this point, Noah, like you mentioned, seems to be a little bit of a stronger position than their offense. But,
well, I mean, they have to. If their offense isn't showing, their defense definitely has to pick up the slack. Especially when you got somebody like Musgraves right now who's pressuring as much as he is, along with Drew Goals. So they got a lot to contend with right now, even though the Thunder may not have all the loose ends tied up with regards to the offense, in terms of their shots or their clean passes.
Ryan Parr, the defender, tries to drop one into the middle. No one is at home except for Ryan Seeger. He'll clean it up. High boot to the right corner. Blackman and Clark are there, headed by a Covenant midfielder, and dropped at the feet of Chris Pfeiffer. The son of the coach is Chris Pfeiffer. He was in the top 5 of the team's point scorers a season ago. The team graduated 4 of their top 5 point scorers from last year. Interception coming back the other way. Ian Meredith has it in the defensive half of Wheaton. Now they're starting to take their time. Pooch in toward the right side. No one's at home. Seems to be a bit of a miscommunication from the forwards of the Scots. Now Mitchell Parr dribbling by himself. The left side goes middle for Clark. A one-touch pass trying to hit Musgraves, unable to do so, intercepted by Hunter Harrison. Harrison drops it to the left side. Todd Fleming now trying to survey his options. Low header by Hussey, angled it well. Back into the middle, back and forth it goes. Still in the defensive third. Russo clears with a header. Up the air is Blackman. Boy, the freshman got hops on that. Still was unable to win the ball. It goes back and forth and rolls out of bounds. It'll be a Thunder throw-in. Coming up on the 22nd minute for the first half, and no score still here in Wheaton College men's soccer. First game of the year from Joe Bean Stadium alongside Noah Pickens. I'm Junior Newby on WETN 88.1 FM on the radio and WETN TV.
And right now on the sidelines, we've got 2 substitutions for the Scots from Covenant right here. 2 freshmen, number 10, Hudson Brock, and number 23, Gordon Carpenter. For those of you on the other side of the field listening, whether you're down in the south somewhere onto your radio or online. Actually, you wouldn't be on your radio. You'd be online. Excuse me.
You would be.
WETN doesn't stretch that far. Barely gets the, past 2 page. But anyways, 2 substitutions coming up right now. Waiting for the break to come on in to replace and sub.
Mitchell Parr will take the throw in. A high, deep throw in. Goals trying to back heck flick. Unable to do so. It rolls out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick. Last touch by Drew Goals. And nope.
Second corner kick for the Thunder, this time from the far side of the field.
It was originally ruled a goal kick, and then the head leader of the referee crew here tonight calls it in favor of the Thunder for the second corner kick of the game. Weaver brings it in toward the middle, headed high into the air to the top of the box. Lawler was going to go for a right-footed shot, unable to do so. Cleared away, and back to midfield, giving chase. And trying it down is Matt Hussey.
playing the essential sweeper position. Matt Hussey getting back. He's the last man back. He is the one that controls the offside
Musgraves, a
of the
left-footed
defense.
shot to the goal, and off the post and good. It's a score for Chad Musgraves and the Wheaton Thunder. A very, very quick developing play, Noah.
That came out of nowhere. I was just too busy talking about the defense over here, and then Chad Musgraves is making the show on the near side of this field on his own, just coming in, sprinting as fast as he can, and making it through the defense. Didn't have too much pressure from the Covenant side, making a beautiful shot off the post on the far side of that goal, and just rocketing into the net. This is, at the 21st minute with the 41 seconds to go into this game, Chad Musgraves' first goal of this season. Sophomore coming in strong.
Chad Musgraves gets on the scoring early on. Is assisted from Drew Goals officially. And the Thunder take a 1-0 lead here in the 25th minute. 24th minute officially, rather. Now the Thunder looking to do another offensive attack. Musgraves takes the middle. He'll go to the right side for the speedy Adam Blackman. Blackman controls. Now comes in toward the middle, trying to drop it in for Goals. Goals thought it was for somebody else. He stopped. And now Covenant possesses. Coming along the right side, trying to give it a counterattack. Overrunning, and is this a foul or is this a simple injury? As number 23, Gordon Carpenter, the freshman, has fallen to the turf. Holding his chin, and he appears to be just fine.
Just very first minute of the game, and he comes in. That did indeed look, and it looks like Drew Goals will win, or earn, not even earn, this yellow card. First 24 minutes of this game, first one of the season. It did indeed look a little bit like a foul to me, as number 23 from Covenant, Gordon Carpenter, was making a quick stop with the ball, and as always, going especially at that speed can be pretty risky.
A free kick goes long into the middle toward the top left of the 18-yard box and was cleared away. There'll be a throw coming in for the Wheaton Thunder. And that goal from Musgraves was assisted by Goals. Goals kicked that ball from just on the Wheaton side of the midfield stripe. Then Musgraves had a header that he got back to himself. Here comes a free ball in toward the middle, but Seeger is there to clean it up. He headed it to himself just to get by his man. Now Mitchell Parr on a dead sprint on the left side, trying to get by. He's knocked to the turf, and a foul is called. And a correct call at that, I must say. Gordon Carpenter is there, and he's called for the foul. Substitutions now on their way in the form of two players off the bench. Kevin Skeeker and Christian Rosenberger, senior midfield. Hussey boots it into the middle of the 18-yard box, and it's scooped in and out of the air by John Egger. 1-0. Wheaton with the lead on the goal by Musgraves with 21:41 remaining in the first half. Russo, a flick header back to Seeger off the goal kick. Seeger rolls it out with his left hand to Mitchell Parr. Parr goes in toward the middle in the left channel to Musgraves, who goes back to Parr. Parr chips it ahead, trying to hit Goals. He tried to shoulder himself for some position. It went off his shoulder, his left shoulder, and out of bounds. Good idea, though, from the senior Drew Goals. Now Gordon Carpenter will take the throw-in. It was a good throw, but unable to possess it was Hudson Brock, the freshman who comes off the bench.
Substitution.
Here we go, the sub. Chad Musgraves coming off the field. Coming in for him will be Christian Rosenberger, as we just said, senior player. And then coming off, who's going to be replaced by Kevin Skinker, will be number 3, Adam Blackman. On the bench, he's definitely had a good game. And we'll probably see him later on in the game. I wouldn't be surprised. But right now, Kevin Skinker on the far left near side of the field, playing a midfield position, along with Christian Rosenberger on the right, far side of the field for the midfield.
Gutsy slide tackle by Colton Martin to dislodge the Covenant forward. Seeger now has it. Header by Covenant across the midfield line. Adam Blackman, like you mentioned, showed very good speed and offensive talent in his first game as a freshman. Goals trying to get a ball into through. We're waiting for it was the senior. Seeger now cleans it up. Brings to Mitchell Parr in the left channel. Hits into the middle for Corey Weaver, and he'll decide to start it all over again. Very possessive offensive attack, always building from back to front. Colt Martin along the right side now. To Lawler. Lawler right-footed pass into Clark. Goes back to Martin, who tries to find goals. Header from Covenant up in the air. Controlled by Clark for the time being, and cleared away by the Covenant defense. Martin still has it on the right-hand touchline. Looking for goals. He's unable to control it, but here comes Corey Weaver. He's got two out in front for him and now trying to join him. Good slide tackle, and it was effective as Covenant regains possession. Fancy footwork now being shown by Tyler Morrison. He finally drops it back off to his right-hand defender. Russo's there to clean it up, though. Looking for Drew Goals, who's being double-teamed. Tries to head to himself. He does successfully. Controls in the very left corner and lets it go out of bounds. It's a very tough ball to control here in that left corner. 17 minutes remaining in the first half. 1-0. Wheaton leads over Covenant in the first game of the year for the Thunder.
It's quite a game right here. The stands have now filled almost to near capacity. If you're still listening here on the radio, you should get on out here. There's always room here at Joe Bean Stadium, especially for the first game between Thunder and the Scots from Covenant College. Right now, it looks like we're going to be having some new subs in for the Thunder. Number 8. Excuse me, I'm looking at the wrong list. Number 8 here, Jason Bada will be subbing in. We're not sure for who yet. Number 4 and also number 14, Ryan Kammer, sophomore from Omaha, Nebraska. Jason a junior coming in from Crystal Lake, Illinois. We've seen him around here on the team, but he hasn't gotten too much action as far as I can remember. But waiting for the next break in the game so they can sub in and bring some fresh legs to this scenario right here. 1-0 for the Thunder.
Both Kammer and Bada will come in at the next opportunity as the whistle blows, and they come in now. Coming off the field is Jason Lawler, and Drew Goals will get his first rest of the game as Ryan Kammer and Jason Bada come into the game at their forward and midfield positions, respectively. Wheaton will have a throw-in. Colt Martin will take it on the far right side of the field.
And the Scots also sending in their own sub, number 16, Garrison Dale from Statesville, North Carolina, replacing number 3, Jonathan Frame, senior. Looks like he's had it for the game a little bit too much right here. Probably going to save himself for the second half, as the Covenant's actually going to need this for the second half. If they can hold this 1-0 score or break it by the end of the half, they can maybe bring some sort of counterattack for the second half of this game.
Very important 15 minutes remaining to the end of this first half. As we're just finishing the 30th minute, Seeger cleans up a loose ball in the 18-yard box. No threat there. High drop kick. Goes way high. Trying to be controlled rather by Josh Clark. It does. He steps over the ball. Some fancy footwork. Leaves it for Corey Weaver. Weaver gives to Bada. Bada tried to touch it back to Weaver. It got intercepted though. Now fancy footwork of his own comes from Gordon. And he falls down, and a foul is called on Mitchell Parr, and he does not like it as he kicks the ball forcefully out of bounds. Tough call there, but Gordon Carpenter definitely has a knack for drawing the foul, or so it seems. Earlier in this game.
I think you've hit it on the spot. Yes, Gordon Carpenter has a habit, I think, of drawing a little bit of a foul. Just as I've noticed a little bit of I wouldn't be so bold as to say a hot temper, can I say that? But
maybe some histrionics involved.
Well, I wouldn't I wouldn't be surprised. He is a freshman, loads of energy, as you can tell, very intense player, and right now, free kick off the foul.
Ryan Parr, deep ball into the middle, headed high into the air, still in the box. Skinker, a backhead flick, trying to get it, and it rolls out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in still for Covenant. Just on the side of the 18-yard box. Still very good offensive opportunity. Rolling with it now is Todd Fleming. Fleming gets across ball into the middle, a header in toward the corner, and it rolls across the end line. Harmlessly, out of bounds for a goal kick for Ryan Seeger. And no, there haven't been too many serious offensive threats posed by the Scots so far in this game, although the same could not be said for Wheaton. Wheaton has had offensive opportunity.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's probably one of the closest chances that the Scots have been able to get at a goal, and looking at that, I don't know, they definitely could do a lot more. And these next 13 minutes, I think, are the clincher for both teams. The Thunder either has to hold this lead or gain, that would be ideal, but they definitely have to hold this lead, and the Scots either have to break it, come up to it, or hold it and come back the second half.
Clark gets tackled hard to the ground in the defensive third for Covenant. Play on was signaled by the referee, and a corner kick will come up for the Wheaton Thunder, their third of the game. Clark trying to possess that ball at the side of the 18-yard box. Corey Weaver hustles over along with Ryan Kammer for this corner kick. One-man pressure comes over in Garrison Dale. So it'll be interesting to see what they try to find out. Now they take away the passing lane for Mitchell Parr. Kammer to Weaver, a low liner in toward the middle, cleared away. Now Skinker has it at the top of the 18. Was going to go for the right-footed shot. Now it's controlled into the middle, to the side. Kammer, a little chip in toward the middle, and it's taken away out of the air by John Egger. A good opportunity from Ryan Kammer as he tried to cross it with a little chip. The goalkeeper was a little too deep, and he spears it out of the air. Still 1-0. 12 and a half minutes remain in the first half. High boot flicked on. Skinker trying to control. He's the smallest man in that trio that he's fighting with, but he wins it as it gets kicked out of bounds, and Skinker will take the throw in the defensive half of Covenant. Skinker to Weaver, back to Skinker, back to Weaver. He goes into the middle, center mid. That's Ryan Kammer. Kammer with some room. Now he'll drop it back off to Colt Martin, who joins his teammates in the offensive half. Now Martin, a long cross in toward the middle. Skinker trying to hit the header over there, but he's unable to do so. Cleared away again by the Covenant defense and out of bounds for a Wheaton throw. Wheaton's been keeping up the pressure offensively, and perhaps the minimized chances offensively for Covenant have in large part to do with the possessive offense in the back half for the Wheaton Thunder. They've been taking a lot of time off the clock, building from back to front.
Oh, they definitely have. I mean, it's a good strategy when you're trying to build your offense, but it's also a good way to just add on those seconds to the time. It'll be very frustrating, but definitely gives the advantage to the team that's doing so. If you want to backtrack just a little bit to that corner kick that Wheaton's been playing with the one extra offender in the corner kick.
As we have
we'll talk about that in just a sec.
A quick injury here to Mitchell Parr. That does not look good. Parr goes high into the air for a header, falls to the ground. I don't believe a foul, maybe a foul has been called, judging by the reaction of Tyler Morrison, but the more important thing here is the health of Mitchell Parr. He says right now he's fine, but you never know, Noah. With the falling hard to the turf like that, you want to make sure you take all your time, because Parr was undoubtedly hurt. At the outset, he turned over to try to see what was wrong, and then he held his back. It may have been his lower back in the tailbone area, but hopefully he's okay as he's getting up under his own power, holding the right side of his lower back.
Yeah, I couldn't tell at first what was up with him at the time, but right now it's definitely something with his lower back. Walking it off. Seems to be just fine at the moment. A little shaken.
That's good news for the Thunder.
Especially since he plays such a key point there on the near side of the field in the defense. Splitting up the offense at the moment and giving the Thunder extra time as they look to end this first half, which seems to be dragging on with 11 minutes left to play.
Out of courtesy, the Covenant team dropped it back to Ryan Seeger, who tried to build from the back. Mitchell Parr kicked along the left side. Now it's in the defensive third for Covenant, and Mitchell Parr will take a throw-in.
And it looks like the Covenant will be having a sub coming in soon. One from my own, not necessarily hometown, but in Waxhaw, North Carolina. Joel Friesen, freshman, will be subbing in soon.
Ball in toward the middle. Clark, a long shot over the crossbar. Over everything, into the football field. Ryan Kammer did a wonderful job to control that pass in from out of bounds by Mitchell Parr. He controlled it with a couple touches, dropped it for Clark, and Clark had a long cross about 15 yards out, and once again went over the crossbar and over the background and into the football and track field.
Just like we were talking about earlier in the game, those are the shots that count. When you're in the midst of it, the last thing, you probably remember is to lean into those shots, but that is what makes those shots count. And those are the fine-tuning details that you need to work on as a team. Leaning into the shot, making clean passes, and not losing those opportunities, because those can definitely make or break the end result of a game.
Wheaton looked to push something offensively forward. A ball was dropped for Skinker, but it was well overshot. Now the keeper for Covenant gives a boot. Trying to hit his man over here on the near side is Gordon Carpenter. Carpenter being pushed out by Parr. Carpenter still wins the ball, though, on the right side. Now brings it in toward the 18-yard box with the right foot. Looks to cross into the middle. He does, but is cleared away by the Wheaton defense. A Covenant player, a forward, fell down in the box. Nothing called, though. Skinker trying to bring it up the field. Covenant intercepts and brings it back. Trying to be kept in play by Covenant. It is rather successfully done. Ryan Parr kicks it out of bounds, though. It'll be a Thunder throw-in for Kevin Skinker. 9 minutes, 15 seconds, and counting down from that point here in the first half, as a foul has been called
on number 10, Hudson Brock.
Boy, Mitchell Power has definitely had his share of hits in this game.
Yeah,
as he fell to the turf once more.
Yeah, we'll see if he comes back in for the second
Free
half.
ball in toward the middle. Josh Clark is there, but unable to do anything with it. Camera intercepts. Now it drops right side. Here comes an opportunity with the right foot for the senior in toward the middle, and it gets knocked away and out of bounds. It should be another corner for the Wheaton Thunder. It is. That was Christian Rosenberger from Wheaton North High School, the 5'10 senior. Cameron did a wonderful job to drop it to him for the shot opportunity, and it was deflected away by the defense for another corner.
And I got a sub here for the Wheaton Thunder. Jordan Gold, sophomore, coming in for Jason Bada, replacing him at midfield. Be playing that center position right there.
But before we get anything started, jogging out onto the field is the Wheaton athletic trainer. Just to see if everything's okay, to talk to the head referee. She gets word from him that everything's fine, and she will jog off. Jordan Goals, like you mentioned, Noah, his first action of the season coming in tonight. Coach Giuliano said earlier this afternoon he did not believe that Jordan would be available to play with his injury to his ankle. However, doctors cleared him to play, and Giuliano is now bringing him off the bench. He's the sophomore younger brother of Drew Goals, the All-American and captain on this team. It'll be a corner kick. Corey Weaver and Ryan Kammer man it from the right side. Drop to Cameron. Cameron now takes it himself. Does fancy footwork to Weaver. Trying to get there, and it's slide tackle and punched out of bounds.
Nearly took off the head of the cameraman on the far side of the field right there, just holding the camera for dear life.
That was Matt Hudnut that was able to punch it out of bounds. The cameraman saw his life flash before his eyes, but for a brief moment. Long throw-in comes into the 18-yard box. Header, opportunity is there. Weaver trying to control with a right-footed shot in toward the goal, but it goes off to the side. It'll be a goal kick. 7:52 and counting. First half, 1-0 the lead in favor of the home team, Wheaton College Thunder. Here, this is game 4 of 4. Started at 7 o'clock Central Time. The three other games today featured University of Wisconsin Eau Claire women against the DePaul University women. Eau Claire won that game 4-0. Here's Josh Clark, who does fancy footwork to control that ball in the air. Mitchell Parr. Long shot. Parr falls to the ground again, and it's another foul. This time called against Hudson Brock. My goodness, no. It seems like Parr is all over the place when danger is imminent.
Well, I mean, when you're throwing yourself into the game that much, you're going to expect to take a few hard falls like that. And Mitchell Parr is definitely the kind of player who will throw himself into the game and take those hits.
He sure will, and he's shown that. Colt Martin, a long cross toward the left side, looking for Kevin Skinker, the sophomore. However, it bounces once and falls out of bounds without a touch. It'll be a throw-in in the defensive third for the Covenant College Scots. Here comes the throw-in for the midfield line. Headed away by Mitchell Park, trying to keep in bounds by Corey Weaver. It is done so successfully. Goals number 11, that's Jordan Goals, the younger brother of Drew, who's on the bench right now. He has been given a yellow card in this game, Drew has. Now Covenant with an opportunity, going toward the right side, no one at home. Every single opportunity that we think has been an opportunity has come up empty, and well empty at that for Covenant.
Well, it's just the fact that they're not able to finish up their plays right there. Right there, they were able to make some space. There was one key pass that they made, but then they just sort of threw it away, and there was no purpose for their passes. And when you don't have a purpose in your pass, you're going to lose it. You have to be very intentional with where you're passing your ball.
Parr comes down right in front of us. A beautiful touch up the field by Skinker. Back to Parr, who tries to split a double team. Skinker trying to control with the left foot, and he does, and it's out of bounds. Off of
Kevin Skinker is what they called it.
Looked to be well off of Covenant. However, it's called off Skinker's hip, and Covenant will gladly accept the throw-in. They throw it in, and Russo clears out of bounds. Coming up the field slowly but surely, 5:40 and counting remaining in the first half. Throw-in comes into the Wheaton defensive third. Covenant trying to make another offensive push, this time to piece something together. Now coming in toward the middle is Matt Hudnut. Hudnut knocked to the turf, and no fouls called. They say play on.
Well, at that point, you can say knock to the turf. I think he took a little bit of a leap.
Yes, he did.
Just throwing in there.
Goals controls far right side. Leaves it for Richardson. Now the senior controls in the far right corner. Long cross in toward the middle, and it carries the goalpost and out of bounds. Excuse me, that was Rosenberger. Christian Rosenberger. And another substitute, Noah.
And with 5 minutes left to go in this first half, we've got number 23 for the Thunder, Brendan Finnerty, freshman, coming in from Michigan, where we'll be replacing number 15, Josh Clark. What looks like to be either the top left for the offense or in the center for the midfield. With these few minutes left in the first half, most of these plays will be turning into acts of desperation, such as the leap that we took. We'll look for another substitute coming from the Covenant. Number 6, David Taff, replacing number 19, Matt Hudnut, sophomore, who is playing a very key position as stopper, I believe, for the Covenant.
Ryan Cameron does a nice job to touch it down, look for possession off the goal kick, off the foot of John Ager. It rolls out of bounds, and the throw-in will come for the Covenant Scots. 4:05, counting down, remaining left in this first half. High into the air goes Martin to head it. Now hiding it again is Christensen. It'll be a throw for the Thunder. Throw comes into the right side. Rosenberger gives a touch up and is kicked out of bounds once again by the Scots. It'll be another throw. Rosenberger will take it. He'll just come short right here to Corey Weaver. Weaver trying to bring in the ball now and toward the middle. The defense retreating. A long, unloaded shot from Weaver. Or maybe it was an attempt at a cross. And it
looked like a shot to me, not necessarily a cross.
Goes well over everybody. As we've seen Josh Clark, Noah, take a shot similar to that with his left foot from about 35 yards out. Are they seeing something that we're not seeing with an open chance for goal?
Well, that's the thing. I don't know. Very few times have I ever seen a successful goal off a long shot like that. And I've only seen really only one shot that was within the 18-yard box. But other than that, they've all been from outside, which, of course, we've seen have not proven to be successful. And, I think as you tell your team, those generally don't work.
It is 1-0, though. Wheaton leads with 2:48 and counting. The goal from Musgraves, assisted by Drew Goals, with 21:41 to go in the first half. So far has been all the scoring. Now Wheaton trying to build something up. They go to the left side to Kevin Skinker. Skinker back in toward the middle. Trying to hit his man, and it is the freshman. Taking a play with it is Brandon Finnerty. Finnerty back to Skinker. Nice touch by Finnerty. Trying to hit Jordan Goals now with Skinker. And Covenant intercepts. Man almost in offside position. Seeger coming out to control it. Just inside the 18-yard box, and he does successfully. Good presence of mind from the keeper, Ryan Seeger. Skinker now running a triangle offense of sorts in the back half of the Wheaton defense. Matt Hussey now will chase down the ball. No pressure inside the 18-yard box. Just under 2 minutes to go now in the first half. A 1-0 lead in favor of the Wheaton Thunder in their first game here in the Bob Baptista Invitational Tournament that we have every year to open the season right here at Joe Bean Stadium in Wheaton, Illinois. Very hot, very humid day all day, and it has been more of the same even tonight. Now Covenant looking for something to do with it. Getting across the midfield stripe. Wonderful defense by Corey Weaver. Now Weaver has some room to operate. He'll drop it back to Finnerty. Finnerty to Weaver. Weaver left foot in toward the middle. Cameron tries to flick it on himself. The Covenant defender sticks his left foot out in front of it. And a little more like a Wheaton shot than a Covenant defense, but nonetheless, it rolls right to their keeper.
A little unnerving for the Scots from Covenant right there in the defense.
65 seconds until the horn will signal halftime.
I think that would just ruin your morale right now if you scored a goal on yourself with only a minute left to go.
An own goal would be devastating at this point, considering how well Covenant has competed, especially on the defensive side of the ball. A long ball It's pooched up, and it looked like it was going to go across the end line. Instead, it twists and turns its way to the opposite side of the corner flag, and it will be a deep throw-in, which changes things. Now for the Thunder, Matt Hussey will take the throw. 30 seconds, still deep in the defensive third. He tries to throw it over everyone. Finnerty is there and goes out of bounds. It will be another Wheaton throw as they advance it up the field. Colt Martin will take this one with 20 seconds. Perhaps one more offensive effort, or just to keep Covenant out of the 18-yard box themselves. As here's a ball that comes in, bicycled out by Hussey and out of bounds. 10 seconds. Covenant looks to hustle for one more offensive try. Touch goes back and forth, a long cross in toward the middle, a header, and as the final horn sounds, the attempted header falls well wide of the goal and over the end line, and that's halftime. One goal has been scored in the first game of the season for the Wheaton men's soccer team, and it was scored by Chad Musgraves, as assisted by Drew Goals in the 24th minute mark. Noah, what are your impressions of Wheaton so far?
Well, it's definitely hard to say because, we don't have too much to compare them to. This is their first game. They're playing a team that they've never played before, as far as we know. They're definitely new to each other. So it's very hard to compare because we don't know what they're like in comparison to other games. So it's a very fresh, new start for them. But so far, they're playing very well. They're intense. They have a pretty consistent level of energy that they give throughout the whole game. I didn't see too much. It didn't oscillate that much throughout the first half. It sort of did with the Scots from Covenant, halfway through the first half. But for the most part, I think the Thunder has been able to keep it pretty consistent. Definitely, they'll have to work on tying up the loose ends, working on the passes, and as we were talking about, the shots from the long, from outside the 18-yard box. Those generally don't work, and they're going to have to work a little harder at getting the ball in and breaking the defense up, because the Scots have been able to play a good defensive side on their side of the field. So the second half will definitely tell who will win this game. The Scots have they still have the chance. They haven't lost the game completely yet. They can still show. So the Thunder will definitely have to be there to interfere. Stop them from winning. So.
Right, absolutely, and I've actually had some colleagues call me in the last year and say, Mike, I think you're overscheduling a bit when they saw what happened and things like that. I've always traditionally wanted to play the very best that would play us. Maybe in the future we'll scale that down a bit, just because the CCIW has become. You're right. There used to be 3 or 4 teams that you knew. Okay, that's a win. Yeah. Not anymore. No. And so maybe we need to go a little softer. But you schedule years in advance. So this year it is what it is, and we're just gonna have to live with it.
Well, it's Mike, we appreciate your time. We're going to talk a little bit, again, we're going to talk about some of your mission trip things. We'll do that at another time here. But we're talking with Mike Giuliano, who's the head men's soccer coach. We're talking with Mike Schauer later. But if you want to know anything at all about Wheaton College sports, go to the updated and redesigned website at athletics.wheaton.edu. There's too many mics. There's mics. That's all this. It's amazing. In addition to the articles, schedules, stats, and rosters, you find in-game live stats for many sports, including men's soccer, sign-ups for free mobile text messages, a new app for Android phones, and you can even follow the Thunder on Facebook, Twitter, and more. Again, that's all at the new athletics.wheaton.edu. Thanks to Sports Information Director Brett Marhanka for his help arranging today's interview. This has been a production of Wheaton College Athletics and WETN Radio. For the Thunder Sports Report, this is Dan Balo. Thank you for listening.
That was Dan Balo with Thunder men's soccer coach Mike Giuliano. Just a reminder, we're at the half here of the Wheaton Thunder Covenant College game. Wheaton's up 1-0 at the half. We'll send it now back to Judah and Noah for the second half, guys.
Thank you very much, Wuhao Helps. Back here at Joe Bean Stadium. At halftime, 1-0. Wheaton leads their first game of the year against the visiting Covenant College Scots. And Noah, There's pretty lopsided statistics initially from that first half, and why are they so?
Oh gosh, I mean, why are they so? I mean, it's a clear fact that the Thunder is playing a little more on top of their game than the Scots are, and the stats kind of show it. Just a quick read through it. The Scots of Covenant College they got a total of 1 shot, and none of those are on goal. I feel like they probably did maybe a few more, but for the most part, we have it down here as 1 shot. Not a single one of those on goal. Their goalkeeper, on the other hand, is playing quite a bit. He's got 2 saves. John Eager playing very well, defending as much as he can against this Thunder offensive. And then for the Wheaton Thunder, 10 shots, 3 of those on goal. Most of those coming from Josh Clark, center midfielder, I believe, and 2 of those from Corey Weaver, who took 2 of those from outside the 18-yard box, but nonetheless taking a shot on goal. So 10 shots, 3 of those on goal. Corner kicks, you can definitely tell Wheaton's been getting a lot of action on the defensive side of the Scots. 4 corner kicks as opposed to 1 corner kick for the Scots. And right now we got the second half coming up soon, in just a few seconds right now, as the Thunder will kick it off and begin the next 45 minutes of this game, both looking to either even this out or keep the lead that the Thunder is maintaining at the moment. So right now it looks like the old lineups that they had at the beginning of the game. Don't think there's too much of a change. We'll go through that in just a bit.
Lawler and Clark are in the mid-circle to begin the second half. The final 45 minutes of soccer played here at Joe Bean Stadium have just begun. Wheaton took the initial kickoff. It's gone back and forth between Covenant and Wheaton. The Thunder trying to control. Clark and Lawler are in the mid-forwards on the team. Here comes Covenant trying to mount an offensive attack early on. A throw will come for Covenant, and they'll take it early on. Looks like they want initial offensive pressure. Ian McKenzie splits the double team, gets to the 18-yard box, and unloads with an 18-yard shot that carries the crossbar. So quickly, I think the story at halftime, or the message at halftime, rather, from Coach Nathan Pfeiffer, was more aggressive offense and get into the box. They did right there with Ian Meredith, not McKenzie, Ian Meredith, unloading a right-footed shot over the crossbar. And Ryan Seeger comes in with a goal kick. Carries the midfield stripe. Headers are exchanged back and forth. Musgraves now trying to control. Musgraves has the lone goal of the game, and he did it at the 24-minute mark. Gave Wheaton a 1-0 lead, assisted by Drew Goals. Colt Martin now along the right flank. Punches it up the channel. Trying to hit Adam Blackman. Deflected out of bounds. It'll be a Thunder throw-in. Thrown in by Clark. The ball, though, has rolled in from out of bounds onto the field. They call it back. Wheaton will still maintain possession with the throw. Here on the near side on the right. Briefly out of our immediate vision here as we see it on the press box. On the north side of the field. The throw will be taken, though, from Mitchell Parr. Into the box. Goals trying to flick it on with his hip. Unable to find his man. It rolls across the end line. It'll be a goal kick.
And it looks like we have the original starting lineup from the first half for the Thunder. If you do not remember that right now, our defensive lineup looks like Adam Blackman on the near side of the field, defensive wing. No, excuse me, that would be Colt Martin on the defensive wing. Matt Hussey in the middle with Dan Pavlik in front of him. And then number 17, Mitchell Parr on the far side of the field this time, playing this defensive lineup for the second half. Corey Weaver also in the middle, number 16, Jason Lawler as well, along with Adam Blackman on the far right.
Beautiful possession by Adam Blackman to Goals, who gives it back to Blackman. He tries to chip one in toward the middle, but no one is there, a little far. And into the arms of the keeper.
And I hope that wasn't a shot on goal, which it probably wasn't.
I don't believe it was.
We won't count that.
Not from the freshman. But that is to say, with the message of that, Wheaton has had plenty of shots on goal that have been well outside the 18-yard box and have been more in the 30 to 35-yard range. So we'll ask Coach Giuliano about that after the game, if he is available.
And at the moment, we also got Drew Goals and Jason Clark playing the offensive men up top. looking to get those shots within the box.
Free kick for Covenant comes into the middle, deflected off the one-man wall that is Drew Goals. And it kept in play with the left foot of Matt Hussey. I thought it was going to go out of bounds. Wheaton keeps it in play. Now they bring in offensive attack. Goals trying to find Musgrave stricken along the left side. It got deflected. Now Corey Weaver has it. He's in the middle. Slows it up a little bit more. Colt Martin. Wheaton trying to dictate offensive pace once more. It gets deflected and out of bounds. Colt Martin will take the throw in. In the Covenant defensive half. Drops it in for Drew Goals. Goals trying to maintain possession. Had it poked out and out of bounds. And it'll be a Covenant throw. They give it back to the visiting team. 1-0 Wheaton leads, 4 minutes into the second half. Header comes on by Pavlak. Well done. Goals trying to control. Gives a through ball to Blackman on the right side. Blackman maybe an opportunity to cross. He kicks it off his man. Still on the right side. Slid tackled down to the ground. And a foul has been called.
So this will almost look like a corner kick, as we've got the foul called in the far right side, far near side of the field. As taken by Jason Clark.
Josh Clark, rather.
Josh Clark. Thank you for correcting me.
Not a problem. But you're right, Noah. Nearly identical, this free kick to a corner. Low liner in toward the middle. Hit with the right foot of Adam Blackman up and over and out. That'll be well, it was deflected by a Covenant defender. It looked like it was off the foot of Blackman, but it was off Covenant, and it'll be another corner kick for the Thunder, very similar to what they just had. Tough to tell who's taking this corner from the vantage point. But it's just dropped to Corey Weaver and in toward the middle. A bullet that streaks head high across the 6-yard box, but no one was home. Falls out of bounds. It'll be a throw for Covenant. Covenant had a couple of offensive opportunities early in the second half. And here might come another one. Stringing with the ball by himself is Tyler Morrison. And the Wheaton defense is quick to swarm him. He tries to hand it off to Ian Meredith. Meredith leaves it for Morrison again. Morrison drops it back. Intercepted. Corey Weaver. Chad Musgraves now controls. Trying to get it past Morrison again. Unable to do so. Covenant controls. Just in their defensive half. Now they cross the midfield line. Along the left flank comes Todd Fleming. Fleming with the left foot in toward the middle. Pavlak clearly was holding the jersey of Ian Meredith. Meredith very frustrated. Throws a fist up into the air and yells something that I was not able to hear. And it'll be a free kick and a very good opportunity offensively for Ian Meredith and Covenant.
I think he just yelled indistinctly. But right here, the Scots are looking to, and it looks like Dan Pavlak's second yellow of the game, not for Dan Pavlak. That's his first, but Drew Goltz earning a yellow card the first half of this game. Both of those yellow cards, the only ones given in the game, given to the Wheaton Thunder. And right now, Ian Meredith will take the free shot on Ryan Seeger.
There is a 4-man wall at the top of the 18 box. Drew Goals is a 1-man wall just to the flank of them. Meredith sizes it up. He might try to shoot here. Seeger shades the left-hand portion of the goal box, or the right-hand portion, as we see it, though, to his left. Meredith comes in, high shot in toward the left corner, and it's up and over and out.
Very dangerous shot right there. Very well placed. Probably just a little too high. But at the same time, it was aimed for Seeger's weak spot, hoping to kind of get it through the Wheaton defense's wall. And so it's a very key play right there for the Scots. They're looking to even out the offensive energy that the Thunder has put forth in the first half. And so far, they are doing a very good job completing their passes a little bit better than they did in the first half, with a few exceptions. But for the most part, they've been able to push in to the Wheaton defense.
Here comes Musgraves trying to get a through ball into Clark across the middle, and it roams harmlessly along the end line. I don't believe Clark might have not been expecting that. Musgraves, though, once again utilizing his speed. He is oh so dangerous when he has the ball isolated with the one-on-one man on the left-hand flank.
That is true, and if you recall, which I'm sure you will, that first goal that came from Chad Musgraves was because he had the ball on a long pass that he was able to maneuver and nail into the goal.
38 minutes to go. Appeal for a handball, no call made. Here's a header coming in. Adam Blackman controls and is called for a handball.
And they will actually call that one right there, as the Scots will take a free throw.
You believe you perhaps saw one about 10 seconds earlier.
Yeah, I think I do. I think I did. I mean, nobody else seemed to see it, so maybe I'm just going a little nutty. But
Now, Covenant will pull their keeper up to about 30 yards outside the box to take this free kick after the handball from Adam Blackman's been called. So John Anger,
which means that their sweeper, number 20, Hunter Morrison, will have to push back a little bit. But it looks like they're really trying to put the pressure on the Wheaton defense.
they sure are. There's a ball coming in toward the 18-yard box along the left flank. Trying to control it is Johnny Frame. Frame being muscled down by Adam Blackman. No call made. So
Arms
Blackman gets a well tackle. Here comes a ball from goals. Trying to hit Josh Clark. Clark shoulders it to himself, but he gets shouldered off by a defender. What defense from Covenant as Clark comes to the ground. But the Wheaton Thunder still control. Ball is free in the middle. Jordan Goals, who has entered the game, did not pursue it. Blackman trying to keep it in play. It rolls out of bounds, and that chain of events will be capped by a throw-in for Covenant. Wheaton's child still trying to maintain offensive pressure. Colt Martin getting run off the field by his man, forcefully knocked to the ground. Very physical play coming from Matt Hudnut. It is a foul that has been called. Wheaton trying to take the free kick quickly as the pace of the game, Noah's really picking up.
It definitely is. We were wondering what kind of energy this second half would show. You know, as we have 36 minutes left of the second half, both teams showing a lot of energy, especially coming from the Scots. They must have received quite a pep talk in the locker room before this half, and let's just see if they can actually keep that level of energy consistent, because if they do, Wheaton will have to step it up in terms of defense and offense as well.
Here comes a cross and a touch pass into the box. Seeger cleans it up without harm. Coming up on minute number 55. 1-0 still the score. Musgraves trying to chase down a goal kick in the corner. Back heel flip. Stays in play, then goes out of bounds. It'll be a Wheaton throw. Mitchell Parr comes over to the left side. Haven't called Mitchell Parr's name a lot yet in this second half. Probably a good thing for his sake, because most of the time when we called it in the first half, he was the one falling to the ground.
Yeah, that is true. He was definitely a key component to most of the plays that were being taken in this first half, and you know, he probably will show his face a little bit more.
He throws one in here toward the middle, and Drew Goals is called for a foul. Interesting call there. Not going to question it. His man did fall to the turf, but it looked like he was Goals simply was trying to fight for position rather than knock down a man.
That is true, and as you remember, the referees are always unquestionable, of course.
That is true.
They are always right, never wrong.
But Goals does have a yellow card, so he needs to be careful.
That is true. And the second one so far for this game, if you are just signing on or tuning in, 2 yellows for the Thunder.
Drops to Weaver. Weaver comes to Lawler. Lawler in the middle. Try to get a through ball into Blackman. Blackman chases it down. Try to keep control. Comes in toward the middle, and it's deflected and stays in play. No. It is out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick. Covenant knocked away the cross that was on the ground from Adam Blackman, just about 10 feet from the goal, or 10 yards rather from goal. And they came back in play with a chance to clear, but it landed across the end line before they had a chance to make that happen. It results in a corner kick. Taking the kick will be Corey Weaver and Adam Blackman. Weaver to Blackman to Weaver, low liner across the middle, headed along the ground and out of bounds. It'll be a Wheaton throw. Or instead they give it to Covenant. It is undoubtedly a Wheaton throw. The Covenant player tried to play it off as if it was Covenant possession. Blackman, though, takes the throw, gives to Clark along the right side, trying to cross. It gets deflected off a man. Weaver decides to keep it in play. Weaver comes in toward the middle to Pavlak. Pavlak, a little bit of space to work with. Puts on a juke move, maybe a little bit too much fancy footwork. It gets intercepted by Covenant off Scott right foot. And out of bounds, it'll be a throw for Colt Martin. Josh Clark controls. His man falls to the ground and holds his knee, but no foul called there. Clark steps over the ball into the middle. Left-footed shot along the ground. He slides, and it gets deflected away. Giving chase is Lawler. Controlling it now, letting it roll out of bounds is Mitchell Parr. He'll be a throw-in for the Thunder. Parr takes his throw-in. Goes in toward the corner for Drew Goals. A one-touch pass trying to hit Musgraves coming in toward the middle, but it gets cleared away. Now at midfield, Matt Hussey. Header to Martin. Martin. Crisp pass to Weaver. He let it go by him, though, to Clark. Clark thought about going back to Weaver, but held it for too long. Intercepted by the Covenant defense as they bring it across midfield. A left-handed pass gets intercepted. Nicely played by Mitchell Parr. He brings it across the midfield stripe of himself. Tried to hit Josh Clark, but overpassed him. And it gets cleared away into the stands like a beach ball at Dodger Stadium. And out of bounds, it'll be a Wheaton throw.
And some people will be a little disappointed they can't take home a souvenir from this first game at the Bob Battista Invitational.
Now that reference to Los Angeles, the weather isn't too far off from what they might be experiencing in LA right now either, with a lot of humidity and a lot of heat so far all day today. Very characteristic of the Midwest, though, so I'm told.
Yeah, I'm told the Midwest is supposedly this humid all summer long, and we're just having a very odd summer.
Colt Martin now sprinting along the right channel, trying to pass it into the middle towards somebody, but no one is there except for Covenant defense. Mitchell Parr, Dan Pavlak, Matt Hussey have a ball by themselves now in the defensive third. It gets cleared away and knocked out of bounds by the Covenant forward, Tyler Morrison, who's made his presence felt in this game. One man that we haven't seen yet in the second half, but we saw plenty of in the first half, was Gordon Carpenter. Very physical midfielder. He had his battles with Mitchell Parr. Ball goes back to Covenant, and another shot into the crowd. The grandstand, students always appreciate that, Noah, and for the first game of the year, a very good showing by the Wheaton faithful in the stands.
Yeah, you can definitely say that again. I see one guy, it looks like he's in a one-piece orange suit that covers his entire body with little blue shorts on. He's very distinct. Yeah, you can't miss that guy.
No, you cannot.
He's got to be really hot right now, if that is what I think it is.
I believe it is.
One other side note, one of the Covenant players that has kind of made his mark here in this second half is Ian, what is his last name, Meredith, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Ian Meredith, coming from Kenya, was able to make, he was able to draw that one foul that earned him the free kick.
Mm-hmm.
That was actually very well placed. So, you know, if he continues the kind of energy and intensity that he's been able to play so far in this in these first 15 minutes, the Thunder's going to have to keep a closer eye on him. As we're 30 minutes left to go in the second half, 1-0 in favor of the Thunder.
High free kick into the middle of the 18-yard box, then cleared away. Musgraves now shakes off a man, goes past another man. He's into the 18-yard box, still dribbling. Pretty amazing ball handling skills from Chad Musgraves. He leaves it for Parr, who gives a high kick and falls over the post and into the end line. It'll be a goal kick for John Egger. Egger places it along the 6-yard box. Here we are, just past minute 60 here at Joe Bean Stadium. 1-0. That was our score at halftime. It still is our score 15 minutes into the second half. Pavlak goes high for a header and falls hard to the turf. He seems to be all right, though. Gets back up. His number 4 counterpart fell with him. Covenant trying to maintain possession, but they lose it. Here comes Josh Clark. He's got the ball now. A man comes on to whip with pressure. Clark keeps it, though, and he leaves it. Here comes a chance for Drew Goals, streaking in toward the 6-yard box, but meeting him at the point of attack and sliding and snaring the dangerous ball was John Egger. A nice pick by the keeper. Covenant will build from back to front, much like Wheaton did in the first half, as they give to Todd Fleming. Fleming sprints across the midfield stripe. Here comes pressure from Adam Blackman. He tackles well, but a foul is still called against Blackman.
And it looks like we got some Wheaton players on the sidelines waiting to be subbed in. One freshman who will be getting his first minutes of the season, Brendan Finnerty from Michigan, will be gaining some minutes in this game right here, alongside Jordan Gold, sophomore, who will be looking to replace a Wheaton Thunder player.
Left-footed shot streaks its way over the heads of a couple attempted headers from Covenant, and it goes across the end line for a Ryan Seeger goal kick. Jordan Goals enters the game for his brother Drew. High five slap. They take off the field. Josh Clark now will get a breather as well as the aforementioned Brendan Finnerty, who saw a little bit of playing time in the first half, comes back out for the second half for more minutes of his young freshman career. Seeger's goal kick is a long one. Jordan Goals gives chase, and he is there. His man falls to the turf. Jordan fighting that injury, so probably not playing at 100%, although he is available. Weaver trying to control. He drops to Finnerty. Finnerty with the right foot, goes left foot. Hits Lawler. Lawler trying to get past his man. He does for the time being. Drops for the left foot of Weaver into the middle of goals. He was unable to control it just outside of the 6-yard box. Flicked on with the backhand hitter. Now Covenant trying to control as they get past the midfield stripe. Matt Hussey trying to chase it down. He cuts it off and boots it well over the home stands. Probably hit some cars over there in the parking lot here at Joe Bean Stadium.
Hopefully it wasn't mine.
Hopefully,
all right,
yeah.
And we got 2 Covenant players coming in looking for a substitution. Number 21, Connor Castile, and number 24, Alex Carter. Alex Carter, sophomore, and Castile, a freshman, looking to replace number 12, Jay Boyd, and number 5, Todd Fleming. They will be playing up top, behind, in the Scots defense.
Here comes the Wheaton offense. Weaver controls in the middle. Wheaton moving left to right here in the second half. Lawler now picks it up, goes to the right side, or left side rather. Mitchell Parr with the left foot. Working his way around, drops to Musgraves. Musgraves has a drop if he wants it, gets it to Goals. Jordan Goals, who shoulders off his man. Now Musgraves has an opportunity, gets it to the goal. Now with the left foot, it gets knocked away, and out of bounds, it will be a corner for Wheaton. Substitutions once more coming into the game.
The sophomore, Steven Russo, who's seen some playing time in the first half, will be replacing someone in the game. And then our famous number 23, Gordon Carpenter, for the Scots, will be coming in, replacing what looks to be number 22, David Huertas from Florida.
And for the Scots, number 23, Gordon Carpenter.
Gordon Carpenter, as you say, coming back into the game. We know what he brings to the table. He made his presence known in that first half, especially against Mitchell Parr. Dan Pavlik takes a rest. Steven Russo comes in for defensive purposes. It'll be a corner for the Thunder. Looks to be their 6th of the contest. Back and forth it goes. Weaver, a left-footed shot in toward the middle, headed away and out of bounds. And it looks to be off the head of Jordan Goals. So the Thunder still trying to feel themselves out as far as executing their corner kick opportunities. Weaver possessed that ball for a good 2 or 3 seconds in play from that corner before crossing it in toward the middle, before Jordan Goals attempted a header and knocked it over the posts and over the fence. Egger will come with a goal kick. Nice high boot. Parr goes up with it. It carries Mitchell Parr. And offsides position has been called. No, a foul's been called. Shoving foul, apparently, according to the referee crew. This is the same crew that refereed the women's game, the 4:30 kickoff right before this one. It'll be a free kick coming just about 10 yards to the left of the midfield stripe. In the Thunder defense, here it comes. It's on its way in toward the middle. Seeger leaps, spares it with 2 hands.
Neatly saving that ball. I think one thing that distinguishes Ryan Seeger is he's very clean, very neat. You wouldn't see a messy play executed by Mr. Ryan Seeger. The guy knows how to handle himself and knows how to do it gracefully. I mean, does it with his knee up in the air, jumping up for that one, making sure the ball is protected.
Here comes Adam Blackman trying to scoot a pass along to Jordan Goals, but offside has been called. I'll go back for free kick. But a good idea from the freshman Blackman, showing good presence of mind, showing good vision from the young freshman trying to hit Jordan Goals.
Oh, yeah, no, I definitely agree with Adam Blackman. As a freshman, he's definitely been able to make his mark. He's got some vision, like you said, knows where to look for the empty spaces.
Colt Martin gives a defensive header up into the air. Lawler backhead flip. Someone hit his head, though. Lawler feeling for the back portion of his skull. But he seems to be okay as he's walking around still in the game. Controlling it now is Covenant, trying to do something with it. Again, they've only had a few offensive opportunities, and a couple of them came in the first couple minutes of the second half. Now the ball is crossed to the left side, and Chad Musgraves trying to get past his man. He's got Finnerty and Goals. He gives it to Goals. Goals gives it back. Now punched inside. Weaver doing some fancy footwork at the top of the 18-yard box and leashes a left-footed shot. We have become no stranger to the long shot outside of the 18-yard box. And like the others that preceded it, it carries the crossbar and is out of play. And coming into the game,
the crowds go wild for Mr. number 26. Jock Nator. Well, I can't even pronounce his last name. Exactly right. This guy, very look forward to Wheaton player, freshman from the area. Many Wheaton fans know this guy personally, as he's earned a reputation for his raw skill and power as a soccer player.
From Wheaton North High School, a local product. It'll be fun to see him play. 5'5" freshman. Meanwhile, Wheaton trying to mount an offensive attack. Corey Weaver had it deflected and it goes out of bounds. It'll be a throw-in for the Thunder. 22 minutes, 5 seconds, and counting down from that mark. Remaining in this second half. Still a 1-0 lead. The only goal coming at the 24-minute mark. Chad Musgrave scoring on a left-footed strike that hits the post on the right side and goes into the goal. That was assisted by Drew Goals on a long pass from just about midfield. There's a foul called into the box on that potential free kick. And it'll go back to a free kick for the keeper, John Egger.
And with only 21 minutes left in the second half, the Scots are bringing in 3 substitutions right here. Number 6, David Taff. Number 10, Hudson Brock. And number 15, Joel Friesen.
Substitutions for the
Long pass comes out toward the right channel, but Russo is there and clears it away, goes out of bounds. And like you mentioned, a trio of substitutions now coming in for Covenant and taking a seat now.
It will be number 19, Matt Hudnut, and number 18, Ian Meredith, who was a key player in this first half of the second half. Didn't necessarily show after that. And also number 4, Tyler Morrison.
Here comes the throw-in in the Wheaton defensive third, possessed by Covenant. Trying to go back and forth with the give-and-go ball. It is out of bounds. Another throw for the Scots. Here comes this one's high and toward the 18-yard box. Trying to make a play with it around the goal area, but pretty far from Seeger. It gets cleared out of bounds. It'll be another throw for the Scots. Taking this one is Barrett Schmidt, sophomore defender. This one's cleared high into the air. A headerable ball. Goals controls with his feet, however. Jordan trying to go somewhere. He's knocked to the turf. No foul called. Momentum most likely carried him there. This ball now is dropped. Connor Castillo with it, trying to get by his man. But it was defended nicely. Defended nicely by Jacques Tautori. I'm sure I will learn how to say that name a lot better as his season progresses.
Especially as the years progress. I mean, by the time I wouldn't be surprised if we wouldn't see him starting by the beginning of sophomore year.
That is definitely a testament to his talent and abilities to play soccer. A throw will come in from Colt Martin. Just under 20 minutes to go, 1-0. Wheaton leads. That was the score at halftime and it remains the score. Here's Tautori, drops it back to Colt Martin in the defensive third. Hussey misses hitting the ball cleanly, goes high into the air. Now Tautori with it, gives us a header of his own. The crowd loves it. Now another header from Jock, and he gets knocked to the turf, and his header falls out of bounds. It'll be a throw for Covenant, but every move that Tautori is making right now gets a reaction from the crowd. But Covenant trying to counter that with an offensive attack of their own. It rolls off the foot of Colt Martin out of bounds. The Scots will take a throw in the defensive third of Wheaton. Trying to do something with it now is the Wheaton forward, almost touching him with his hand, and then knocking Jason Lawler to the turf was Joel Friesen, the freshman midfielder from Waxhaw, North Carolina, hometown of Noah Pickens.
Not necessarily hometown, but close friend of my brother's.
Oh, my bad.
That's okay. It's not necessarily his hometown either.
Yes. Jordan Goals falls to the turf. A foul has been called. It'll be a penalty against Covenant, and a free kick will be taken for the Wheaton Thunder from about 40, maybe 37 yards away, guesstimation. They'll take it quickly. They'll give it to Colt Martin. He'll try to Tautori on the right side. He has a man on, tries to get free from him, and it's still in play. Tautori trying to get rid of it, and he gets called for a foul. Substitutions, 2 more coming into the game. Noah?
Mr. Connor Rice, senior, coming in also with Drew Goltz.
We will hold the substitutions.
Giuliano brings it back. The substitutions have been held for the sake of pace of play, which has been slowed down already. Connor Rice, the sophomore, and Drew Goals, the senior, will stay on the sideline for now.
Other way around, I think. Oh, wait, no, you're right.
No, Connor.
I got it right. Yeah, he's not a senior. It's very much.
It looks like it will be a free kick rather for the Thunder as Nataratori drew the foul. Taking the kick is Weaver. Here it comes, a low liner across the ground and scooped up by the goalie. It was touched on nicely by Jordan Goals, but Egger was there, maintained his line, scooped it off the turf. Now lets his men settle downfield. A high boot across the night sky, and it's back flicked on with the header, but Seeger's right there to scoop it up. It goes from keeper to keeper. Seeger now trying to hit his man. It's Goals down there. A headed opportunity. Gets headed away and cleared out by the Covenant defender. Now Covenant maintains possession. That's Todd Fleming. Trying to hit his man. It gets deflected out of bounds. It will stay with the Scots possession-wise. 17 minutes, 5 seconds, and counting down. 1-0 the lead for the Wheaton Thunder in their first game here, September 2nd. Dribbling it up toward the 18-yard box. Martin is there, though, to clear. A header opportunity came from Alex Carter, but he goes backwards. Jordan Goals trying to get possession. Now substitutions come into the game, which is too bad. The pace of the play was starting to pick up offensively for the Thunder. Nataratori is going to take this throw. Instead, now he gives it to Connor Rice.
Both Chad Musgraves and Colt Martin walk off the field to probably get a breather for the last, 5 or 10 minutes of this second half, as we only have 16 minutes left.
Goals trying to hit Finnerty. Both Goals and his defender fall to the ground. Covenant had it for a brief moment. Corey Weaver took it away. He's trying to run in the right channels. Now brings it back with his left foot in toward the middle and has an odd-looking pass. Did not hit that well. Overshoots Goals well behind him. A throw-in will come, and possession goes the other way to Covenant. Bringing along the right side is Hunter Harrison. Harrison with some defensive pressure goes right side, and it's into the stands. Misplayed pass, and Wheaton will take it on the opposite side of the field. High throw-in from Parr. Header knocked around like a pinball machine. We saw that in the women's game as well. Nice control along the ground. Here comes a pass coming in toward the middle, but is intercepted for the meantime. But no control for Covenant. Now Connor Rice tracks it down. A nice touchdown into Tori. Tori goes back with a giving low ball to Rice. Looks good. A slide tackle is made and made well. Down to Tori, though, takes it back. Gets by one man. He takes the middle. He might size up a shot. Goes with the right footer, still from about 23 yards away. And Tori takes a major spill down to the ground along with his defender, Matt Hudnut. A foul is called against Tori.
You should see the face on Julian. You should see the look on Giuliano's face right now. That play right there, off his right side of his right foot, given that it wasn't really the most comfortable position for a left-footed shot for Jock, but no, taking it from the right side of his right foot would have given it a really nasty spin had it not been blocked by the Covenant defense. But then on top of that, I think that spill was for the fact that he was trying a back kick, basically.
So he takes his spill to the turf.
And that is why the crowd went wild with that one play. And why Giuliano's just kind of thinking, oh my goodness, if that had gone in.
A lot of fancy footwork happening now. That was Gordon Carpenter. He was playing in the first side down to the near side of us. He's now on the far side, playing the far right forward. And he draws yet another foul.
And the Covenant will be having a substitution in soon. Number 7, Mr. Kenny Cadita from Chattanooga, Tennessee. Just over the river, under Lookout Mountain.
It'll be a free kick now coming. Down about the 16-yard latitude, but deep into the right corner. So very far away from the goal. Most likely like a corner kick in toward the middle, but it's headed away nicely by Jordan Goals. However, Covenant still maintains possession. It's a little chipped in toward the middle. There's offsides all over, but
two of those.
Seeger cleans it up. Trying to hit Jordan Goals. There's a high bounce. Goals is one-on-one, but he's unable to track it down. With the meantime, heads it to himself. Now a little chip in toward the middle. Lawler trying to control. It's meanwhile controlled by the Covenant defense. Goals trying to bring pressure on the ball. He does. Covenant does some nice passing in toward the middle of the field. Garrison Dale now drops it up for Chris Pfeiffer. Haven't called Pfeiffer's name much in this contest. Haven't had many opportunities. Opportunity here, Connor Castillo being defended by Nataratori. Falls out of bounds. He'll be a throw-in.
Into the game.
Well, first, we'll have substitutions with 13 minutes and 5 seconds and counting in the rest of the contest. 1-0, Wheaton leads.
Number 15, Josh Clark, replacing number 23, Brendan Finnick, who played an excellent game in the Wheaton midfield. Definitely a very visionary player, being able to maneuver the ball around pretty well, as far as we could see.
They have been playing well, the young freshmen have, in this game, whether it's been Blackman or Finnerty or Natara Torrey. So that's probably very exciting and encouraging to see for Coach Giuliano. Beautiful job by Weaver to take control of that ball. Looking for a pass to Josh Clark. Overshoots him though, a little too much velocity on that attempt. And it rolls to the keeper.
There are a couple of very frustrated Covenant players who just seem to miss a very key play right there as the ball rolled between three of them, not necessarily claimed by either one.
Still 1-0, Wheaton leads. A Thunder team that's dominated the stat sheet, especially offensively, as opposed to Covenant, but still only lead by only 1 goal, and that can very often change quickly.
No, yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll have 11 minutes left in this game, and already the second half, I'm not quite sure exactly which team has kind of taken the lead. It would seem that Wheaton has offensively, but at the same time, Covenant has been making a show in Wheaton's defensive side of the field, especially in the first 10 minutes of this half. There were some very close calls with some shots coming from Ian Meredith. Now, right now we're going to be having some substitutions, not necessarily right now, but maybe in a few minutes, coming from Chad Musgraves and number 14, Ryan Kammer, who we haven't seen so far this game, as we'll see who they will be replacing in this half. And also coming from the Scots in Covenant College, number 4, Tyler Morrison, coming back in for who we will see in just a bit.
Those players will be coming in at the next opportunity. Meanwhile, Covenant has possession. Kemmer did see his playing time in that first half. Played well with a few nice passes. He'll get some time here with 11 minutes flat and counting down from there. Remaining in the second half. Here come the substitutions. Just preceding a Covenant throw in the Wheaton defensive half.
Number 14, Ryan.
Splitting halfway in the distance between the 18-yard box and the midway line.
To the disappointment of the crowd, Jacques Tautore will be coming off the field, as well as Jason Lawler. Both players doing an excellent job in the second half, and we'll see if they get some playing time. We'll definitely be seeing them throughout the season. It'll be very exciting to see how these freshmen develop.
Goals controls, that's true. Trying to hit Jordan, and Jordan had it for the time being, got tripped up, and it was cleared, and it goes out of bounds. It'll be a foul called against the defender who knocked down Jordan to the turf. It was interesting to see that give and go from Drew to his little brother Jordan. Minute 80, almost put in the books. Before we get into the final 10 minutes, still a 1-0 lead. Here comes the kick in toward the middle, headed down to the turf nicely, cleared away with another header, just outside the 18-yard box. Here comes Josh Clark, ball is still loose and cleared, and now Covenant with a chance at another attack, going the opposite way. They bring it across midfield, about 4-on-4, drop to the right side for Gordon Carpenter. Carpenter trying to cross it in toward the middle. Seeger skies for the save.
Looking to switch it, and that was probably one of their most organized plays so far this half. I mean, you could hear some of their teammates yelling, "Switch it," as they had one man loose on the near side of the field, open for a shot right there. Gordon trying to switch it, and right now I'm being overpowered by the train.
There was a long ball that came in toward Drew Goals. He thought about playing in toward the middle, but instead decided to shield off his man as it traveled over the end line. It'll be another corner kick, the 8th of the evening for the Wheaton Thunder.
Number 17, Mitchell Parr, coming in for the Thunder, replacing number 21, Aaron Brown.
I'd say it's 2.
Aaron Brown was able to be substituted in and get playing time.
I don't remember him coming in, so that's a little bit of surprise.
Slipped by me as well.
He snuck out under me.
Musgraves slides to Weaver at the corner of the 18-yard box and throws a long cross. Boy, no, it's been tough. We haven't really seen very many successful crossing attempts. That one was well clear of everyone, and Weaver had space to work with.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, for me, it looked a little bit like he could have taken the shot on that one. He probably was a little too far out, but had he gotten a little bit closer, I think he could have taken the shot. We haven't seen too many of those shots on goal so far this half. which is why it's kind of hard to say which team is actually coming out and improving a little bit off of that first half. And I think by comparison, I would say the Scots have improved their game better than the Thunder has the second half. We've definitely seen some individual milestones for key players, but as a team, I think it's a little different.
Seeger takes a free kick on a foul as Matt Hussey fell down. Ball's congested in toward the middle. Connor Rice trying to control with his chest, and a handball is called against Connor Rice. So a free kick will be taken for Covenant. Whistles blow. They'll try to take it quickly. Taking it would be Morrison, trying to yell to his team to decide who's going to take it. It won't be Morrison. Hunter Harrison now will take it. Trying to set something up offensively. 7 minutes, 20 seconds, and counting. Down to the final horn. A 1-0 lead for the Thunder. There's a nice ball in toward the middle of the 18-yard box. Seeger is out, and he reaches up for it and snares it. That's the fourth snare by Ryan Seeger of a cross of a potential heading opportunity, and he's just gotten ahead of everybody, above everybody, and brought it down with two hands.
And in this point, his space was all crowded up with Scott offensive. So definitely a very well play. If you can do that under pressure, you're a key goalie.
Now a bit of an interesting moment there as Hussey tried to shield off his forward charging toward the goal, and Seeger was able to come to the top of the box and clear it. Now Wheaton trying to launch a counterattack. Drop to the left side. Mitchell Parr, left-footed slide up to Jordan Goals, and here they come. Jordan's got his older brother Drew coming in toward the middle. A long cross in toward the middle and just over the crossbar, and lands in the top netting. 6.5 minutes to go, and more substitutions for Covenant.
All right, the subs for the Scots, number 17, Roy Anderson, and number 19, Matt Hudnut, we saw has been playing very strong throughout this game, replacing number 6, David Taft, and number 21, Connor Castillo.
6 minutes and 10 minutes away from victory for Coach Giuliano's squad. They've been playing strong defense up to this point. There's a collision between Steven Russo and his counterpart. Looked like they might have knocked heads.
Both men on the floor right now. Number 18 for Wheaton, Steven Russo getting up.
And Kenny Cadita, the freshman forward from Chattanooga. He gets up and he's all right though. So is Russo.
We'll also be having soon a few minutes. Number 4 for the Wheaton Thunder, Dan Pavlik will be replacing probably at stopper in front of the sweeper position.
There comes an opportunity here. Trying to control it along the ground is Covenant. Connor Rice is there though. He deflects it on. Goals gets to Weaver, but Weaver was unable to control. Now the left foot of Russo slides to Josh Clark, who angles it with his chest. A nice pass. Now to Mitchell Parr. Parr brings it in toward the center. Drops to Jordan Goals, but it got intercepted. Not enough oomph on that pass. Connor Rice now trying to tack down this isolated ball. Giving chase hard is Hudson Brock. Hard slide tackle on Rice as they were traveling out of bounds. It goes out of bounds across the line. There'll be a throw-in for the Thunder as Rice composes himself. 5 minutes, 20 seconds, and counting. Chad Musgraves, Dan Pavlik re-enter the game for the Thunder.
And that'll leave a pretty nasty turf burn. Dan Pavlik replacing number 18. Looking at the wrong list again. Steven Russo playing an excellent game so far, coming in and out as a freshman.
Here comes a header, flicked on. Josh Clark is there, so is Drew Goals. Goals takes it, tries to get a through ball. Cameron giving chase, but so is the keeper Egger. Egger controls it. Now gives a nice drop kick, touches the turf once, then his right foot gets into it. Shielding off his man is Gordon Carpenter. Carpenter still has it, gives a right foot a flick. Boy, good passing to himself as he still gets by another man. A left-footed shot toward the goal. Seeger dives to his left, saves it, keeps his body in play as well, and instead of a corner like it very much could have been, the sticky hands of Seeger keep it in possession of the Thunder, and he rolls it to the left side. Mitchell Parr will build from back to front.
Gordon definitely testing Ryan Seeger with that shot right there, eluding a couple of Wheaton defense right there. You can definitely tell the electric intensity that the Scots are playing with right now. They recognize they got a little over 4 minutes left in this second half. They still have the chance to even this game out. It's only 1-0. You realize that. That's not too much of a lead. It can be huge in one sense, but in another, Wheaton could easily lose it right now.
Musgraves tried to tap it on. Unfortunately, goes off his foot and out of bounds. 3:54 and counting. 1-0 is the lead. Musgraves takes the ricochet and undercuts his man. They both fall to the turf very hard. Musgraves, hopefully he's all right, but he's on the turf right now. A long pass comes up toward the front. That's Gordon Carpenter trying to track it down in the right corner. He's there. Here might be something. Across along the ground into the middle. A man falls down. No penalty called, and thank goodness there wasn't a penalty called. It was just outside the 6-yard box. Now a long shot tried to be unleashed by Chris Pfeiffer, but it was blocked. Musgraves is still on the ground, hasn't gotten up yet. Now Josh Clark simply controls it and boots it out of bounds. Boy, Noah, that might have been a very good offensive opportunity.
No, you definitely, right there, you had two Scots fall on the ground. Not sure exactly what happened right there, but they were open for the shot right there. The Scots are definitely upping up the intensity of their offense. And it's a shame, I mean, for their sake that they haven't been doing this more consistently. They got some anxiety right here. 3 minutes left in the second half, and they are chomping at the bit for a goal in the last 3 minutes.
Christian Rosenberger is an emergency sub for Chad Musgraves, who comes down as Covenant's throw will come all the way down to Ryan Seeger because of Musgraves' injury.
And if you missed that right there, you basically had a Scott player kind of sort of straddle Musgraves and sort of take him to the ground. How that wasn't called, I do not know.
It must have been an inadvertent attempt. Wheaton still has it in their offensive third. It's dropped to Jordan Goals. They give it to Ryan Kammer. Kammer goes left side along the channel. Does nicely to work around one man. Now leaves it for Weaver, and he does a semi-shoot of a ball, and it goes out of bounds. It will be a corner kick with 2 minutes and 27 seconds and counting for the Thunder. And no, instead, it's been a goal kick. It looked to me like it'd be a corner kick opportunity, especially with the way that the keeper Egger tried to go out and keep it from going across the end line. However, he was unable to get to it, and it's still a goal kick, though. Mitchell Parr, though, able to control it, trying to get into the offensive half for the Thunder as they're 2 minutes away from victory. 2 minutes flat right now. 88 minutes down, 2 to go. 1-0, the Thunder lead in their first game of the year here at the Bob Baptista Invitational. Covenant only has a few more minutes left. 2 rather, under 2 now. As they bring it along to their offensive third. That's David Huertas. He started the game and has had action ever since. Connor Rice trying to clear. Huertas has it back. Rice meets him, though, at the point of attack and clears to Goals. Goals a lot of room to work with. Goes up the middle. It's taken there by Hunter Harrison. Looking for a man. Goes up the middle, and it's intercepted by Mitchell Parr. Parr brings across the midfield stripe. A lot of walking and casual jogging now on the offensive side. All Wheaton needs to do now is bide more time. 1 minute 15 and counting. Kammer leaving for Weaver. Weaver now gives to the right side where Christian Rosenberger is. Back to Weaver. A minute 2, a minute 1, 60 seconds. The 1 minute warning has been issued by the public address announcer. Jordan Goals has left to the left side for Josh Clark. Defensive pressure is coming. Josh Clark gets by one man. He's in the 18-yard box. Leaves it for Drew Goals, but he's met at the point of attack and it's cleared away. Now Jordan Goals controls. And his offensive third on the left side. Trying to work around a man is Mitchell Parr. Lining up a shot is Drew Goals with the right foot. It's loose at the 6-yard box. Boy, what a shot from Drew Goals. He almost got it through. Egger had it on his shoulder. Then it got free and Egger was able to clear.
With the exception of Chad Musgrave's winning shot, that was probably the Wheaton Thunder offense's best shot so far this game.
It's not over yet, though. 20 seconds, a long shot from the outside of the 18-yard box from Covenant. It gets blocked, though, by the Wheaton defense, and that might have been their last gasp. 10 seconds. Alone with the ball now is Egger, but he's outside the box. That's going to do it. A one last chance from David Huertas, but the Wheaton defense was there. The final horn has sounded. First game of the year, there's been positives and negatives to look at with this team, Noah, but in the end, a W is a W.
It definitely is a W. And I wasn't quite sure how long they'd be able to hold on to that lead, as it was only a 1-goal lead. And a 1-goal lead is a huge advantage, especially in the first half. There's no denying that. But to hold on to that can be pretty risky, you know. You obviously want to shoot for a second-goal lead, because that 1-goal lead can instantly disappear with 1 goal. And as you may know, when you're playing a game like that, once you even it out at one-on-one, the game could basically go anywhere. And I feel like this second half was very much like kind of on the edge. You definitely saw Covenant making a lot of effort. giving a lot of initiative to score. They had a couple of shots. A few of those, I think, were on goal. We'll definitely confirm that when we get the stats as we conclude this game. But it could have gone anywhere with this game in the second half. The last almost 5 minutes of this game, the Scots gave an impressive amount of push for a goal, and it was close with a couple of shots that they had. So, you know, there are a lot of things that this team, you know, this Wheaton team will have to look forward to in this season. And we're hoping to get an interview with Coach Giuliano and see what his take was on this game.
Hopefully Coach Giuliano will be available for our final post-game conference, as we have some statistics from the end of the second half. Why don't you run through those, Noah?
Yeah, not nearly as one-sided as this first half. You could definitely see that Covenant College made an effort to push more on the offensive. They had 6 shots. One of those was on goal. So we were correct in saying that they gave more effort in that offensive half. Wheaton, on the other hand, 18 shots, 5 of those on goal, all right, in total for this whole game. So that is including the 10 shots in the first half. So their game definitely subsided a little bit in the second half. And here we have Coach Giuliano, who will take my mic, and
you can go ahead. As the players of the Wheaton Thunder soccer team, after their first contest, they come out victorious off here at the Bob Baptista Invitational, round 1, the 4th and final game of this evening contest, now joined by Coach Giuliano. And Coach, first of all, congratulations on the victory. What did you learn about your team as far as the first contest was concerned?
Well, I think that what we were most concerned about was the new sort of system in the back. I thought our backs played really well. We just have to get our offensive rhythm going better.
Now, as far as Jordan Goals was concerned, before the game you weren't sure if he was going to play, and now you brought him off the bench. Physically, does he look like he's okay? Not 100%?
Well, he's not 100%, but he's good enough to make a difference, and that's what mattered tonight. So he hasn't trained for a week, but we thought he looked scary for another team out there, and so it was important to play him to get ready. Loris is obviously a phenomenal team, and we need him to get some minutes tonight, so just in case we can play him tomorrow.
Now, last year, we played a lot of freshmen, or you put a lot of freshmen out on the field last year, a lot of freshmen and sophomores. And this year, even in the first game of the year, we saw some freshmen get some playing time. Talk a little bit about Adam Blackman, what you saw from here.
Well, we basically announced, based on what we were seeing in practice, that while we were very pleased with all our freshmen, we didn't see any of them cracking the first 11 or starting the first game. Adam made that decision somewhat problematic because day in and day out in training, he was one of the most dangerous offensive options of the second team. I mean, he often scored against the first team. And after a while, we just said, it's silly. I mean, if we're not going to play him, we're saying it doesn't really matter what you do in training. So, he was a little jacked up tonight, a little nervous. You're going to see something special from him. The name that comes to mind is Joel DeLoss. Now, he's not a Joel DeLoss yet, but I think he could become one. He's a goal scorer, just a pure goal scorer, sees the field and makes good choices. But we got to get there first. So,
first game of the year, your defense pitches a shutout. Ryan Seeger, a lot to do with that. How strong is your defense this year if they can do it in the first game?
Well, I was very pleased with them. Again, I think we'll see a little more extra offensive firepower tomorrow night, and with all due respect to Covenant. But we'll see. If I'm sitting here with 2 shutouts tomorrow night, you're gonna see a happy coach because that's a quality team. And once again, we're trying a lot of new stuff in the back. We played 3 in the back most of last year. We have 4 in the back now, and we also are just doing some new things. And it's going to take a while. And I just was very pleased with the decision-making of our backs tonight and thought, if you think about it, they only got 6 shots during the game, and they got very few good looks at goal. And at the end of the day, that's all you want, and that'll work.
And speaking of tomorrow night, number 15 Loris College, you saw their game today, the 2 o'clock game that they played against North Central. What do you know about them, and how do you prepare for them tomorrow?
They're very fit. I didn't see an unfit guy on the side. They've got 2 extremely special players. They've got a guy, and then another guy scored a hat trick, so I guess they at least have 3. And so it's going to be, we have to decide some matchup issues. The advantage and disadvantage tonight is we didn't know anything about Covenant, but the advantage and disadvantage tomorrow night is we know about them, but it's scary what we know. They've been in, I think, more Final Fours than any team not named Messiah in the last 10 years in our division. And so, Dan always has his teams ready, and so it'll be a real good battle.
First major test of the year for the Wheaton College men comes tomorrow night right here on WETN at 7 o'clock. Coach, congratulations. Thanks so much for stopping by with the post-game interview. He'll hand it back to my cohort, Noah Pickens. That was Coach Giuliano, head coach of the men's soccer team here on WETN 88.1 FM. It was a 1-0 final, Noah, and the lone goal was a Chad Musgraves goal, rather, at about the 24-minute mark, as he put it in, assisted from Drew Goals. And the stat sheet would suggest otherwise, but it was a very, very close game.
Yeah, it definitely was. I mean, if you look at the difference between the first and half, you could say that Covenant definitely improved their game. They had one shot in the first half, and that wasn't on goal. But in the second half, they had 5, and one of those was on goal. Looking at Wheaton's game, they had 10 shots on goal, or 10 shots in the first half, and one of them, I believe, was on goal, right? But this half, they had 8, a little, not as great, but, just, it was great, and 5 of those were on goal. So those are some of the stats right here. Looking at the shots by period, we have it 18 in total for Wheaton, 6 for the Scots. In corner kicks, Wheaton had 8 in total for the whole game. Covenant with only 1 by the end of the buzzer. So that kind of sums it up in terms of the offensive for both teams.
A long day of soccer here at Joe Bean Stadium now finished and in the books. It all started at 11:30 when the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire had a 4-0 final defeat of DePauw. That was in the women's bracket. Following that was the 2 o'clock game with North Central taking on number 15 Loris. Loris won that game 4-0, and Loris will play the Wheaton men tomorrow at 7 o'clock. At 4:30, you heard it here on WETN, the women took care of Loris in their first game of the season. They won by a score of 3-1. The women will play tomorrow night for the championship of the Bob Baptista Invitational on the women's side of the bracket. They'll be taking on University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire. Jonathan Hensel and myself, Junior Newby, will be there for the call with you for a 4:30 kickoff right here on 88.1 FM and WETN TV. And then Noah Pickens right here alongside me will be right back at the same positions tomorrow night starting at 7 o'clock for the championship of the men's final of the Bob Baptista Annual Invitational right here from Joe Bean Stadium. That's going to do it for us here in Wheaton, Illinois. We'll send it about, 300 yards to our left, or probably further than that, a couple city blocks rather, to the VGC where Woo How Phelps will take you the rest of the way on the postgame. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. See you tomorrow at 4:30. God bless.